Hey, this is Rikki ROXX, and you are listening to ROXX100.com.
The Big Rock.
The Big Rock. Keeping the music alive.
Bon Jovi. Lenny Kravitz.
Hey, all you rockers. This is Johnny J, your host for The Big Rock. Catch me right here on ROXX 100 as we are keeping the music alive, rocking the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The Big Rock on ROXX 100.
Rock. The Big Rock. The Big Rock.
Everything that rocks.
Hey kids, would you like to be a rock god the likes of David Lee Roth in his heyday? Then you need to get the
Rikki ROXX Rock God Starter Kit.
Each kit comes complete with black nail polish, eyeliner, sparkly scarf, an actual chick magnet, a velvet jacket to make all the girls go wild, and an over-the-hat skull cap with bandana accessory. Act Now will also include a handy booklet showing you all the best places to wear your sunglasses at night. Regularly a $29.95 value, now yours free when you take advantage of this fabulous offer. But don't act just yet. We'll also throw in a wall poster chart diagramming all the best rock faces to enchant your audience, proven to wet the ladies' panties in mere seconds. For all you newbies, this great kit also includes a CD demonstrating how to push your voice for the radio, taught by Rikki ROXX himself. So quit being a big puss and man up rock style with the
Rikki ROXX Rock God Starter Kit.
Now yours for just $29.95 plus $99.95 shipping and handling. Call now. 1-800-ROCK-GOD. That's 1-800-ROCKGOD. Now. Operators and tattooed hookers are standing by to take your order.
Feel your best before making an arrest. What you gonna pick? Cop pockets when you don't want something salady. Avoid police brutality. What you gonna pick? Cop pockets.
Cop Pockets, filled with juicy jelly, mouth-watering maple and bacon, and creamy custard on a crispy donut.
When you want an easy meal while you're busting that your deal. What you gonna pick? Cop Pockets.
The cop meal in a pocket. What you gonna pick?
Cop Pockets.
Did you wake up this morning with a nasty rash and nothing but regret? Did you go home with a sweaty bass player last night? Did you wake up wanting to chew your own arm off because some skank's laying on it? Are you feeling a burning itching sensation in your crotchal region? Do you feel like you need to scratch your ass with tree bark? Are you walking around like you were banged with a Scud missile? Did you meet someone at the bar you thought would actually call you back? Idiot! Then you need Skankosporin. It'll cool that burning sensation before you do the walk of shame to the cab. That's Skankosporin Itch Paste.
Available in In-N-Out Party Stores, Bottles and Stuff, 8 Mile Liquor, and Cunningham Drugs.
Hey, this is Charlie Cole of Getaway Van from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. You're listening to ROXX100.com.
I've been running
following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx. It's Rikki Roxx, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Rikki Roxx Show, spreading like the pox. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx, yeah. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx, yeah. Rikki Roxx up in your grill, motherfucker.
All right. Wow.
Cameron's blowing up.
I know. All right. So here we are. Oh, wait. Oh, there's Steve Dave. Okay, cool. We got somebody. Now I'm a little bit happier. Here we are, episode number, let me get that off there, 128 of the Rikki ROXX Show right here on ROXX100.com and YouTube Live. Here we are, 2022, January 2nd. And, yeah, man, this is 2022. Hopefully a better year. Hopefully people start paying attention to this goddamn radio show and bigger and better things.
You gotta start incentivizing, man.
I will pay you like the Red Wings back in the 80s. I'll give you a car if you show up to the game. Yeah, you know, it's a thing, 2022. Got a killer show. We have Beer of the Week that's going to be coming up in a little bit. We're going back to Three Floyds, going to see if they have a good beer. Last time we had it, it sucked. And hopefully they can redeem themselves with the Barbarian Haze IPA we're going to get into in a little bit. We have our Pump It or Dump It band of the week, a band out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania called Nail Bite. Already had one Steve Ingiel did. He didn't like it. So we're going to check it.
That name sounds really familiar.
Nail Bite?
Yeah. Like, for some reason, I feel like I've heard of that band's name somewhere or played a show with them.
I've heard of the band Child Bite.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, that's a Detroit band.
Okay,
Child
never mind.
Bite.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to check out Nail Bite in a little bit. But right now, for all of you out there that are enjoying this on a frosty...
Jeff said they played Blue Ridge.
Oh, that might have been it.
Okay.
Because I saw one of their music. I was going through their music videos trying to find a video to play. And they had kind of something like the casting video for that we did, the Blue Ridge footage.
Yeah.
They had one like just like it, you know, where it's like the crowd shot. So they probably did the same exact thing. Be like, just take a bunch of footage and throw it in, make a music video out of it. So they did that, you know.
Steve Dave says, I guess it's better than Pillow Bite.
Jesus Christ.
Jamie Brady's in the chat too. What's
Jamie
up, man?
Brady, what up, though? Hopefully he's doing better. He had the COVID, you know, so he wasn't feeling that great. So Jamie Brady, hopefully you're doing good. And he's getting married in a few months, I believe. So super cool.
Congrats.
And so, yeah, but right now, we're going to get into our nuts and bolts and harsh truths. This is the segment of the show where you send us your questions, rox100radio@gmail.com, or send me a message on the book face. And with any questions you have pretty much about anything. This week, we have a question from Bradley out of Tucson, Arizona. He asks... Hi, I am 17 years old and am in a band. We are all around 17, 18, or 19 years old, and obviously we don't have a lot of money. I've listened to the show a few times and hear you guys preach spending money on a quality product. My question is, if there is one thing you can scrimp on, what would it be? What are some cash-saving tips to lessen the money burn in a band? Thanks. Kevin Razlog.
That's a tough one. It's almost one of those situations where if you kind of like skimp somewhere, like it can kind of come to bite you in the ass. But I guess realistically, if you were going to skimp on anything, like I would go and record, whether it's a single or an EP or like a couple songs, just to get music out there. And then maybe don't go nuts with like 1,400 CDs, maybe order like a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Because Shudder always fucking overbought
it.
Well, it wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
It was just the events that unfolded made it like, oh, I have all these fucking CDs laying around with no band. Maybe in the merch area, like instead of going all out and getting a bunch of different stuff, maybe focus on like 2 or 3, maybe 4 items at like certain price points.
Yeah.
It's tough because, I don't know, I was in positions where I was like, all right, let's have like 2 shirts, 2 tank tops, 2 this, 2 that.
Sure.
And I guess I could see how, you know, hey, I need another $100. Hey, I need another $100. But it's just one of those things where it's like a business.
Yeah.
You really don't want to skimp out on anything, but maybe just divert your funds in a more strategic manner.
Yeah.
Like if you're not able to go out on the road and play like a lot of shows, then it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to like get a ton of merch. Maybe take that money that you were going to put into merch into your online presence and marketing.
Sure.
Or shoot a music video. It's tough because at the end of the day, money kind of drives the machine. So
yeah. Well, you know, if you're 17, 18, 19 years old, you know, I'm guessing that your band, Bradley, your band's relatively new. And Kevin brought up the t-shirts. You know, you can fall down a slithery slope of spending a gobble of money on t-shirts. You know, if you're adding 400 colors to it, making it super huge image, you know, ultra detailed, tons of colors, it adds up quick. And, you know, the more you buy, the less they cost, kind of thing, you know, per unit. You know, if you're a new band,
that's what we did with the CDs. It was like, well, shit, if we get 1,400, they work out to like 10 cents a piece.
Yeah, but then after the band breaks up, you have 1,000 of those suckers laying around. You know, and with t-shirts is the biggest way you can, you know, I think you could save a couple of pennies. You know, you can do the one color. You can learn to do it yourself. I mean, screen printing isn't a very hard thing to do. You just have to learn how to do it. So you could do it yourself. You know, it's an easy thing to do. You know, do one color, do a white graphic, do it yourself. You can save a shit ton of money if you do a lot of shit yourself.
The name of the game, like with any band, is not having to outsource certain aspects.
Right.
Like if you have someone doing the booking, cool. You're not spending money there. If you have someone that does graphic design, well, there you go. You can have them do logos, fucking merch designs, flyers, you know.
Steve Day in the chat. You want to save money in the band? Scrimp on a drummer and a bassist.
But
well played, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, eventually money will go into whatever that area is that you're not spending it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, the reason I said, you know, start doing it yourself is, you know, if you don't have a lot of, and this is, you know, band 101. If you make money, keep it in the band. Right. Don't be like, okay, guys, here's your payout from the shirts we sold. Keep it in the band. You know, start with one t-shirt. Learn to do it yourself. And if you sell 30, 40 of them, you know, at $10, you got $300-400 right there. You can use that towards, you know, maybe making more or spending that money on something else where you didn't have the money for it. Now you got $400 to, you know, $400, you can go, you know, maybe a more budget studio. That's enough money to maybe track a song.
Well, and the thing to also keep in mind is if you go out and blow a shitload of money on like 3 different shirt designs, like you're really not going to know how well each of those is going to sell. You're not going to know what sizes sell.
Right.
So if you go and blow your whole wad on all this merch and then don't sell any of it, it's like you could have put that money into a video or an EP or, you know, 3 tracks, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. Being young, you want to like jump in and cover all the bases.
Well, you want to, you know, when you start it, you know, you're in a new band, you want to have the 10 different t-shirts. You want to have
overkill,
you know, all the CDs, all this awesome merch. You got to start. If you're a band on a budget, you got to start small. Maybe just have a t-shirt and, you know, if you have a couple demos or something like that,
I can get it from the perspective of I've been in situations where we went out and had like the big merch set up, but there's a big difference between quality merch and just like these guys have a lot of shit, but it's not very high quality.
Right.
And honestly, if I walked by like a band's merch table, they had a CD, a shirt, and like, I don't know, a fucking wristband or a bracelet or something, but it was like nice, high quality shit.
Yeah.
I would look past the fact they don't have anything else.
Right.
The trick with that is most people want options. So if they walk by a merch table and all you have is that, like, it's gotta catch them, or they're gonna keep walking.
Well, I mean, if you're 17, you know, when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, I didn't have money, you know, so I'm like, I'm not spending $25 on this ultra elaborate t-shirt. I'm going to support the band that I'm like, oh shit, I can get a t-shirt for $5. I'll take that. You know, if you're doing this shit yourself, you know, you can buy t-shirts in bulk for $1.50. Right. You know, do it yourself, sell them for $5.
You're going to get people now making little stencils and spray painting fucking shirts.
It's a really fucking easy thing to do. And, you know, if you're a new band and you're younger, you know, for us old farts, you know, that have a little bit of money, we don't want that cheap shit. But if
we want the Gucci,
you know, if you're playing a 17, 18, you know, playing that younger demo who doesn't have money,
they don't know about 1,000 thread count sheets yet.
You know, they will take those big cardboard Gildan shirts and they'll love the shit out of it. They'll chop the arms off, do whatever the hell they do with it. You know, so that's what I'd say. You can save a couple bucks there. Start very, very, very small.
Yeah, and to build on that, I guess, don't go like right out the gates being like, oh, we need a booking agent. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need this. Like, focus on the music, getting the band's name out, and knocking little things out like a piece at a time.
And, you know, another thing, learn to do as much as you can, you know, with band stuff. You know, you get into a band, you think you're just going to play guitar, play bass, and play shows and melt faces.
Well, there's still people in serious bands that still think that.
You know, but it's like, learn to do things. You know, people charge a lot of money to make a concert poster. You know, if I need a really high quality one, a very pro one, I'll hire somebody to do it.
Don't use Microsoft Paint.
You know, it'll cost me like $200 to get a professionally designed poster.
Damn, that much?
Yeah. You know, if you're going with like
you can tell though when you see a really good quality one.
You know, like
you see like a really shitty one.
You remember the rock stock poster?
Yeah.
That cost me $200 to get made, but it was very pro.
Oh yeah.
You know, very high def. It cost me money. You know, I can do it myself, but not at that level. You know, so learn to do graphic art. Learn to screen print. Learn to, you know,
network.
If you meet somebody, you know, if you're 17, 18, 19 years old, you probably know somebody that can do, you know, help you get content. Be like, yo, dude, here, take your nice camera and shoot a live video of us, something we can schlep up on YouTube,
right?
You know, or something like that. You know,
get a fucking gimbal and then you're pretty much set.
Yeah, you know, there's easy, you know, ways to scrimp on money until you make enough money to spend it on a higher quality project.
Steve Dave mentioned, when are bands gonna make merch with dry fit shirts? Talk about getting with the times. What the fuck are dry fit shirts? Do you know?
I have no fucking idea, but now I want to fucking know. Dry fit.
Is this some sort of like drinking thing, Steve Dave?
Thing.
Dry fit, stay cool and. Well, he lives in fucking Texas, man. We don't need that shit in Michigan, bro.
Yeah, it looks like it might be like those wicking shirts or whatever that maybe.
Wicking.
You know, if you sweat, you don't get pit stains on it. It just kind of wicks it off, you know, so you don't have sweat.
Gotcha.
And all that shit. Yeah, I'm looking up pictures and it's just all these.
Oh, he says it's dudes. The material that Under Armour uses. Okay.
That's very, very expensive. That's why bands don't do it.
Steve Dave, are you willing to spend $75 for a one-color single logo T-shirt?
Okay, so to Bradley, you know, you can skimp on the merch for a little bit, you know, do the one color, do it yourself until you make, you know, enough money to either do it pro.
Don't waste money on a lyric video. I fucking hate lyric videos.
I mean, if you're going to do it yourself. You know, if you want to go down that route in a lyric video, do it yourself.
I feel like unless you're an unknown metalcore band, it's just super cheesy.
Well, I mean, it's something, you know, lyric videos, it has in my head anyway, lyric videos have a place. You want to put a song out on YouTube or something like that. You don't want it to be the dumb thing, you know, when you do CD Baby or whatever. Oh, and I got to talk about this in a minute. I got CD Baby. I beat them.
What do you mean?
On a copyright strike.
I
beat him on a copyright strike.
We'll get to that.
But anyway, you know, when you do the CD Baby and you get all your stuff on Spotify and Pandora and all this, they'll put it on YouTube and it'll just be like the album art and nothing. So I'm like, okay, if you don't want to spend a metric butt ton of money on a music video and cameras and hiring guys out or whatever and putting that together, that's a nice medium is a lyric video. Mostly if it's a catchy song, it's like, well, I'd really love it if people knew these fucking words,
No, okay, so maybe I sort of misspoke. I hate when bands go, check out our new music video for our latest single, and it's a fucking lyric video.
Yeah, to me it has that spot between, a proper music video and that dumb album art, on YouTube.
I would much rather bands just be like, hey, we threw up a lyric video for this song.
Yeah.
Not be like, our latest video that was done by Joe in his mom's basement that took him fucking 6 months to make.
Yeah, I mean, don't overbill it, but, so that's a thing. So hopefully, Bradley, that helps. Steve, Dave, what's going on? Not really, because so many vendors are making dry fit shirts. The prices have come down.
Everything in the world right now is increased in price. You're going to tell me dry fit shirts are the only thing that's gotten cheaper? Fucking A.
Okay, Jeff Land throws out all the laughing, crying emojis. Jeff Land, casting shadows.
And then we got Hadak Mushkp chiming in there.
Vum.on. So, Raz, what's been going on, dude? It's new year, new you.
Yeah.
Reinventing yourself this year. Big. What? Any resolutions?
Yeah.
And what'd you do for New Year's, man? Party like a goddamn rock star? What was going on?
Steph and I chilled out at home. Basically, drank, watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I built some Legos.
You watched the Wings game?
Well, obviously, yeah. And then we played Simpsons arcade game, winded down the night, and then...
So you didn't do watch the ball drop or any of that, like Ryan Seacrest shit?
Fuck no. I mean, obviously, like, right before midnight, we, like, paused it and did the little thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
what were you drinking? Was it, like, champagne, or was it just like, yo, let's get the heavy shit out?
I mean, I was just drinking beer the whole night, except around like 11, we popped open some champagne. I just grabbed like 2 fucking bottles. I know nothing.
You get a bottle, I get a bottle, babe. Fuck the glasses.
No, like, aside from beer, I don't really dabble with any other alcoholic shit, so.
You don't do like, there's not like a particular liquor that if you're feeling extra saucy, you'd be like, all right, this is going to be the day Raz gets turned, and it's going to be a gin day for Kevin Razlog or tequila.
Part of the reason why I only drink beer is because, obviously, when I was younger, I did some stupid shit and got pretty fucking tanked. I never got, like, a DUI or anything, but I've noticed, especially when I was in college, when Raz drinks liquor, it's drink it till it's gone and until you pass out.
Oh.
There's no stopping.
There's
no stopping. Like, with beer, like... I don't get fucking obliterated on beer.
Yeah.
But, like...
You're going to have to go for, like, 2 days to get drunk on beer.
Yeah, go to a music festival. I don't know. Like, beers just kind of, like, hang out. And, like, when we're talking, like, liquor shots and, like, mixed drinks, that's me, like...
Were you referring to lager beers or Raz lagers? Steve Dave.
Damn, coming with the fire. I mean, there's every once in a blue moon, like... Steph will make like Bloody Marys or, like she'll see something on Pinterest and she'll buy the shit and be like, here, we'll try this. But for the most part, I don't really drink I don't drink wine, don't really drink liquor very much, so.
But if somebody buys you a shot, you'll drink it.
Yeah, but typically that's at like a show setting.
Yeah.
And like, obviously we haven't been going out to as many shows over the last 2 years, so yeah, it's a thing. But I continued my tradition of waking up early on New Year's Day to go to the Lego store at Somerset.
Oh, is that like a thing?
Well, because they release like a bunch of shit on January 1st.
Okay.
So like last year they had the Ferrari Challenge race car. This year they had a whole bunch of different shit.
So I'm picturing Kevin Razlog, all 5'6" of you, 5'7" of you, with 12-year-olds that are also about your height. Oh my God, I can't wait! The new Hello Kitty Lego set came out, and Kevin's just like, fuck you, kid. The new Ferrari's coming out, bitch. And,
so
standing
there was
in line
a
with all these
huge
kids.
line.
Yeah.
Like when I got there.
What was the median age range? Because I'm thinking a bunch of kids.
Most people were in my age range.
Okay.
There was a lot of like dudes that were easily in their mid-30s to 40s.
So the pre-midlife crisis crowd.
Well, no, it's one of those things that like
grappling onto their youth.
Steph and I had two very different upbringings.
Yeah.
Like she didn't even know what the fuck Legos basically were.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got her the Friends like living room set thing.
Yeah.
Because she loved Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." And I got her the Disney Castle and like a couple other like Mickey Mouse kind of things. She fucking loves it. I grew up like when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. My parents would buy me one big fucking Lego set because they were not cheap, like even back then. And I don't know, it's a healthy addiction, I guess, if you want to call it that. I love it. So yeah, I picked up 3 things. Now I've got a backlog of Legos to build. So
how much? So those aren't cheap because my daughter loves those sets and shit like that. So even like the small like 300 piece ones. It'd be like $60-$70.
So the BMW was $240, and I think it's like 2,000 pieces. The Lamborghini was like $300.
So you bought 3 things?
Yeah.
So you spent almost $1,000?
No, I didn't spend $1,000.
Like $700-$800.
The other one's smaller. Yeah, close.
$700-$800 on Legos. You spent $700-$800 on Legos.
So let me tell you something. There's a Porsche 911 Lego set that came out like 4 years ago. It was like $280.
Yeah.
It's like $900 to buy it used. I don't want to pay fucking jacked up resale values when they retire the shit. So the Lamborghini, it was actually the last one they had. And it's getting retired. So I was like, it's do or die time. I have to get it.
Okay. So this is okay.
Steve Dave spends that much on bourbon. Life decisions. Thank you.
Okay, so the reason of this shock, on you spending $700 on Legos, was last night I hit you up. Hey, man, would you be willing to go in on a sponsorship, of this big metal festival? I'll match whatever you want to do. And Kevin's like, oh, I can maybe do 250, 500, if it was a couple weeks out, maybe, I can do a little bit more, 255.
Because I was going into the Lego store knowing I was going to spend a shitload.
That's about as much as I can go, money's tight, between all the flipping jobs and all this, gonna have, if it's a little bit late. And then the very next day, $700 on fucking Legos.
Because I knew I was going to go spend that. Hey, don't forget Georgia Need recording and like all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of things that I'm
Legos and
I gotta keep myself busy, man. I love my Legos.
God damn. So speaking of Georgia Need, what's going on, man? You guys are going to record pretty soon here, or do videos or whatever.
16th, we're gonna go record the rest of the songs that we've written. I want to say like 3 or 4. It's been a fucking minute. So
who are you recording with?
We're going to the Rust Belt,
okay,
where we recorded the last 2. Did we record 2 or 3? I think 3. But we recorded the last 3 songs.
Okay. So you're gonna wrap up the new album and all that. So that's gonna be done.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do at least 2 videos, possibly 3. The trick with that is 2 of the videos kind of require like nice weather.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like the first 2 songs that we recorded that we haven't done videos for require like nice weather. And we're really planning on starting to record a video in like the next like month and a half.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Is it like one of those summertime jams or something like that? Cruising down the street
Okay, so
with
like headed south.
Yeah.
Can't be shooting that in fucking January in Michigan, dude. And I even I was like,
well, you spend $700-$800 on Legos. You can spend $700-$800, take the band down to Florida, get this thing knocked out.
I mean, in an ideal world, I would totally do that.
Yeah,
that would be perfect.
Yeah,
well, but then that cuts into new band Shadows stuff.
Oh, that's fine. We can take another week off. Take your ass down to Florida.
Well, so the trick with that, especially that song, like he's referencing different areas of the country while he's heading down south. Okay, like if we go through fucking Tennessee and Kentucky and shit.
Yeah.
Like we can't be doing that in Michigan in January. It would require us driving like 7-8 hours.
You pretty much have to go on the road to do this.
Right.
So there you go. Spend that money and be like, okay, guys, we don't
have merch, man. Like we don't have a fucking trailer. Like there's a lot of things missing from the equation.
No, you don't have to play or anything like that. Bring a little, in front of the Tennessee, you know, you all get out and be like, what up, Tennessee?
So the problem is, what if we go and there's like snow? The whole video's not, you can't have a video like called Headed South with that summertime vibe and you go, oh, we're in Tennessee and there's fucking snow.
There's not going to be snow in fucking Tennessee. There's barely snow. You know, you get that nice dynamic, though. The winter up here, and then by the time the song's done, you're in Florida, palm trees and all this. Be like, oh man, it's cold as shit up there. Going down south, you know, you're in Miami and Georgia's whooping it up with all his
so going
friends.
down to fucking Miami to shoot a video, to drive that far.
Do it, man.
You're talking about $700 worth of Legos, bro. That's going to be infinitely more money. Multiple people, hotels, gas, food.
Oh, you can go down there and get the footage yourself and just give it to your video guy and be like, dude, edit all this stuff in. Work your magic.
Yeah, no.
This goes back to Bradley, you know, saving money, man.
We're trying to put out a professional product. We're not 17 years old. Come on, man.
I'm just trying to help.
No, you're trying to be a dick.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to get this project going. We want to hear and see this new George Need shit.
Well, and then on top of that, we got the new guitar player.
Yeah.
We've literally only jammed with him once or twice. So we got to get him acclimated. And then there's the, you know, the click track and the backing tracks and all that. That equipment I got to buy too. So
yeah. So when you guys get back together, start jamming and all that?
I think we're just either this week or next week.
Okay. So other than that, what's going on? Got Legos, music videos.
Party like a rock star. Housework, which I don't think anybody really fucking gives a shit about that's listening. All three of you.
Chris Tucker, what up? And a bunch of Steve Dave.
Not much, man. It was nice to have 10 days off and just kind of lounge around, veg around, be a bum.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the junkyard a couple times. I door dashed a couple times, so I wasn't a total waste.
Yeah.
But it was nice to just lay on the couch and, you know, binge watch fucking shit for like 6 hours straight.
Jesus Christ. So,
what about you?
I was waiting for the.
You haven't told us anything. This has been grilling Raz for the last like 20
minutes. You know, since I have, you know, kids and all that, so it's not like I can go party like, you know, a rock star and shit like
Still
that.
Fucking do.
No, not on New Year's. It's kind of like now it's a family thing. You know, it's like can't really go out. You know, so it's like at home with
until
the kids.
They're 18.
Well, at least until one's 12 or something like that, and she can just babysit while we go get turned. But
come pick us up. We're fucking wasted.
You know, so we pretty much we stuck around, sat in the house. We watched the Ryan Seacrest thing with all of, like the new singers and all this shit that my daughter knows. But I'm like, this shit sucks. And she's like, oh my God, it's Dua Lipa. And I'm like, what the hell's
Rikki was getting down with Dua Lipa.
I'm like, what the hell's a Dua Lipa? And you're like, oh my God, Dad, you don't know shit. You know, and so did that.
Watch TikTok, Dad.
Oh God. So, you know, and we had I went out and bought drinks and shit like that for me and Nikki to have. She clunked out about 10:30 and she's like, just wake me up before midnight. And I'm like,
did you?
I did, yeah.
I was going to laugh. You're like, no, I forgot.
Well, and then it's like she fell asleep, you know, the kids, you know, Mace fell asleep. And
I can't believe how big he is.
He's wearing size 1 or 1-year-old clothes.
When I walked
already.
in the door, Nikki's holding him. I'm like 3 weeks ago, you were like half that big.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you guys feeding him?
He's 6 months old and he is wearing 1-year-old clothes. And so he's asleep. Olivia, my daughter, she's just watching her iPad and shit like that. So I'm like, well, the wife's asleep. She's watching the iPad. Mace is asleep. I came down here and I was just trolling through YouTube and shit like that. And I'm like, well, it's 11:30. Should probably go upstairs. You know, I went out and bought like these Moscow Mule things for Nikki and me and all this. And she's like, I'm tired. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. So rather uneventful. I think we were all in bed by 12:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was funny because Steph and I were up till almost 3.
Yeah.
But I woke up at 8:30 to go to the mall. But I wasn't hungover, so.
Speaking of hungover, so I went out last night, you know, because I'm like, well, I didn't get to go out on New Year's. You know, there was a big New Year's party at Diesel. I didn't get to go because of fucking kids, you know. So yesterday I went to go check out I haven't been to this venue yet. It's in downriver. For those of you outside of Michigan, it's the area south of Detroit, pretty much everything between South Detroit and Ohio. I guess you can
just like in that
downriver.
song, South Detroit.
Yeah. And so I went to go check, a place called Parts and Labor. It's a very small venue. Never been there. It's been open for like 3 years or something like that. So went and hung out down there, and it was like the last show of the band Until Solace. I've heard of them and I've seen them a couple times. It was their last show.
Are they like a metalcore band?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I've known that name from somewhere.
yeah, that was their last show. And then I went down there to go see Fatal Conceit, which is Tim Martuck and Kate Puga's band. They came down to Blue Ridge and were hanging out and all that. It was their first show. And
first ever?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And, they had done a couple other bands together and all this, but, this is the first band of Fatal Conceit. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go check it out, So, and it was super cool. Tim is a phenomenal singer, guitar player, frontman, amazing. Katie did phenomenal, on bass and all that. So I was there, saw some friends of mine that I don't see a lot because I don't go down river a lot. And they're like, damn, Rikki, what the hell are you doing down here? I'm like,
I have no friends.
I have no friends. There was like nothing going on, on a the day after New Year's, Saturday on my side of town. So I had to go like down fucking river to do anything.
That's why you need to open your own venue, Rikki.
I know.
Party every night.
So it was like,
hey, kids.
Hey kids, you want to come party at Rikki's place?
I'll show you the Rikki ROXX effect.
You want to see my Rikki's Rocks?
Oh my god!
So I closed, and yesterday we had the first big snow of the year. I guess we got a couple inches, and then my dumbass decides to drive an hour down the freeway. And
do you take Nikki's car?
Yeah, I don't have a car.
I know.
So
I was being facetious.
So it's like, so went down there, drank way too much, and then proceeded to drive home in the fucking snow. Made it, and came back down here, trolled through YouTube, had a couple.
ROXX 100 does not condone that.
Yeah, don't drink and drive in a snowstorm. It's fun, So
keeps things interesting.
So then I just came down here, went on YouTube, and had a couple drinks down here. Then I went to bed. Then I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, my head is fucking killing me. And huge hangover. Didn't roll out of bed until about 3 this afternoon, and had to
I was on bag number 3.
Weed bag or Lego bag? Okay.
Jesus.
I don't know. Your third dime bag already? Is that still a thing? Dime bags?
Yeah, if you're a broke bitch.
I don't know. Whatever. That was a thing when I was in high school. Okay. So yeah, and then I woke up. Here we are, and I mustered together a show. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Looking forward to getting back on the bass guitar this week and getting the train rolling again for yet unnamed band.
Unnamed Shadows.
Jesus Christ. So yeah. So it's a thing. So what time are we looking at? We're at 7:30. I guess we can get into. You want to get into the Pump It or Dumb Band of the Week?
Sure.
Okay. So last week we had Growler out of Oslo, Norway, and their song Clyde. I really liked it, but only got 2 votes. So maybe in Norway, sharing and all that. They don't share a lot maybe in Norway. Fucking Vikings. I don't know. So maybe that's not a thing. It got 2 votes.
They got free healthcare and shit, don't they?
That's why they didn't share it. Because they have
sharing is caring.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just being.
So this week we have a band of Lancaster, PA. If you're into Gojira, Slipknot, Metallica, Tool, Korn, goth metal, and independent metal, you might be into this band. Nailbite. They have a song out called "I Am the Sun." Off their Lost Travelers album that was released in early 2021. You can check it out on Spotify. Just look up Nailbite, and you can check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/nailbiteofficial, then the number 2, because I guess there's a Nailbite Official without the number, or nailbiteofficial.com. Info on these guys. Nailbite is an award-winning heavy metal band from Lancaster, PA. December 2021, Castle Black Radio Band of the Month. 2021. Okay, Band of the Year. Oh, one more thing I didn't talk about that I need to get out real quick. Did we talk about that I'm a reverend now?
Oh no, we forgot.
Yeah, so I'm a
Mr. Ordained minister.
Yeah, I'm an ordained minister now. It was one of those things that I wanted to. I'll get to the Pump or Dump Band of the Week.
So that just proves there really is no God. When Rikki Roxx can do anything remotely close to anything religious.
Well, you know.
We're talking about sacred vows, Rikki.
Yeah, well.
You basically shit on sacred vows the moment you wake up.
Well, you
are a foul person, sir.
Jesus. Wow. My heart hurts now. So yeah,
you've gotten better.
It's been something I've wanted to do for a while. You know, our friend Tiny, he's an ordained minister and all that. That Anton LaVey guy, he was a minister and he was the Church of Satan. So he could marry people. I don't think I'm that bad.
No, you're not burning down church Norwegian death metal bad. No.
Yeah, see, so I'm not the worst. You know, so our friend Tiny, he did radio for years and years and years on
Still
FM.
Does.
Oh yeah, well he does traffic. Does that really count?
Wow. See, really? Terrible person,
really?
Sir.
It's radio. It's traffic. So he does radio and all this and
bumper to bumper.
I-75 is bumper to bumper traffic. This is
But he
Tiny.
sounds real good doing it, man.
Yeah. Well, I could do traffic. This is Rikki ROXX with traffic.
Everybody get the fuck out of my way.
I-75 is bumper to bumper. Detour on 696. Take down Telegraph, and if you're going down
Get off
river,
at exit 69.
get off on Big Beaver. Yes. So, it's been something I wanted to do. And, going into 2022, since at the end of 2021, I did all this benefit stuff and raising money and all this.
Ricky's a man of the cloth now.
So, when Tiny does it, he's like, well, whatever, any donation. He's
I didn't know Kelly was an ordained minister as
well.
Yeah,
he was.
Shit.
He was.
Oh.
Yeah, Chris was telling me about that yesterday. Tiny would give all his donations and all that to a cause. I don't remember what cause it was. So I'm like, dude, this is a cool thing. So I'm like, okay, what would my cause be? So so any if I ever do a wedding or anything like this, all my donations are going to the Save the Music Foundation, raising money
Rikki will do 100% match on whatever you donate.
I don't know about that, but the Save the Music Foundation, raising money for schools and communities to get instruments in kids' hands and all that. So that's where all my donations are going to go.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's ever going to work out anything, but now I can just say I'm a reverend.
Reverend Rikki Roxx.
Reverend Rikki.
So that's going to be your stage getup from now on.
No, I'm going. No. I got.
Well, you can still do the face paint and shit.
Yeah, I got an idea of what I'm going to do when I do the Reverend
do the
thing.
white shirt with the little thingy.
Well, no, I have my. I have an idea of how I'm going to do the Reverend thing. It's going to be pretty fucking dope.
Are you going to cut the sleeves off of whatever it is you're wearing?
No, I'm going to be wearing a big trench coat, jacket.
With a kilt?
Maybe.
So you're like an Irish ordained minister?
Irish Gothic. And another thing that I'm going to be doing, this January 16th, it's a Sunday. It's going to be a really, not a horribly long night, but after the show, I'm going to be going back on air at 10 o'clock until midnight on Cave Radio to do a 2-hour block. They're doing a big charity.
Traitor.
They're doing a big charity radiothon, bringing Howie back, and he's going to be doing Hard Edge Radio again. And a bunch of people, from the Tap Detroit days and all the different networks, we're coming together. We're going to do a big old long thing on Cave Radio. I think it's 36 hours of continuous broadcasting. So it's going to be super cool. So I'm going to be doing
loves to fucking talk, so that's right up your alley.
Well, it's going to be like
36 hours straight of Rikki. Oh, is that why you posted about... What's the longest you've ever stayed up for?
That's another thing. I posted that because I was like, okay, I'm in this giving thing, so I'm trying to think of different ways to do charitable shit and still grow the brand and shit like that, grow ROXX 100 and get it out there. And I was like looking, and I'm
charity
like,
clout.
Yeah, so I was like thinking, I'm like, man, maybe I could go for a Guinness World Record of longest continual broadcast.
What's the current record?
Solo or with a duo?
Both.
Solo, the record is 207 hours, 1 minute and 16 seconds. So that breaks down to about 8 days and 15 hours straight.
Holy shit.
And, I was looking into, the rules and all this. For every 1 hour you go, you bank 5 minutes of a break. And you can save it, So if you go 8 hours continuously, you have 40 minutes that you can
sleep or
take a power nap or get up and do something. So I'm like, man, that's daunting,
What's the record as a duo?
It's a lot less. It's 106 hours 50 minutes, which equates to just under 4.5 days.
I wonder why the disparity. I would think with 2 people it'd be easier to go longer. But
you gotta, because you always gotta have 2 people there. 2 people have to sit down and do this. So one guy gets up and goes.
Fair. Yeah.
You kind of blow the load. So I was like, man. So I posted that thing on Facebook. Because I've been up for like 2 days once, and it was horrible. So I'm like, I was thinking,
what's 8 days like?
So I was thinking, like, okay, maybe it's one of those things that after you get to a certain point, you're just pretty much dead to the world, but you're kind of like playing out. Where you kind of hit a plateau and you just kind of like live there for like a day. Is there
actual video or audio of this record?
It was some FM station. I believe it was like in Africa or something.
This is my recommendation to you. Go to like day 3 and see how entertaining their fucking shit actually is.
See, I don't know how entertaining it would be. And, there's other things that I don't know, like how much music can I schlep up there, or how much percentage of talking you actually have to do, and I'm like, well, am I able to run to the bathroom on a song break?
There's a lot of unknowns.
So it's like, if I decide to do this, I'd have to hit up Guinness and be like, if I play a song, can I get up and go to the bathroom?
Copyright. No record for you.
And then I was like looking, you can stream that long on YouTube, because that's another thing you need for Guinness is you need witness or like documentation of it. And I'm like, okay, well, if I have it all on video,
right.
Of my dumb face sitting here for 8 days, there's the documentation on that. But another thing is you have to have a nurse on standby. So I'm like, well, if I do it, it might not be Guinness certified, but I could say that I broke the record because you have to have a nurse on call at all times, just in case
you don't die.
Yeah. So it's something I was kind of shooting around maybe doing at some point.
I fucking knew it. As soon as I read that post, I was like, Ricky's up to something.
Yeah,
he's not just posting this out of sheer boredom.
Well, it's like, oh man, I think I could probably raise a good chunk of money, doing that. Even if it's like a couple $100, people wake up and go to work. Oh, Ricky's on. They get home from work. Oh, Ricky's still on. Shit, day 5. Maybe I'll give him $5. Something like that. So.
Why don't you do that for... No, I'm just kidding.
Do it for what?
The show.
God damn, no. I can barely do the show for 2 hours, let alone 207. And I was like going over, I'm like, okay, how long is actually 200 hours? I'm like,
shit. It doesn't sound that bad. And then when you say 8 days, I'm like, oh, fuck.
But, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that would be like doing 100 episodes of this show back to back to back to back to back to back nonstop. I'm like, oh.
100 episodes.
Oh. That's, oh, God.
It took us a while to hit that hundo.
Yeah, and doing that all at once in a week. 2 years of work, get all done in a week. Oh, God. So I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I fear I could raise.
Everyone in the chat, tell Rikki to do it.
I'd be like, yo, Nikki, I'm going to be in the basement for a week. Just throw some food down.
How much fucking booze are you going to need?
Well, that's the thing. That's like, I was looking into it. They're like, that's the worst thing you can do is drink because you'll get totally dehydrated and
you get some cocaine
tired
and shit too.
So I might have to do some rails or something like that. Just stay up. And they're like, no, you got to eat a bunch of nuts. I'm like, I said nuts, So, anyway, getting back to the show, the Pump Her Dump Band of the Week. Nail Bite out of Lancaster, PA. I Am the Sun off their Lost Travelers 9-song album. Facebook.com/NailBiteOfficial2 or NailBiteOfficial.com. Head on over to Facebook.com/Rocks100. Find the Pump Her Dump Band of the Week poll. Give it a thumbs up if you dig it or if you didn't dig it. And Steve Engel, he's not here. Maybe he's
still so angry he didn't even bother to tune in.
He was like, dude, dump it. And I'm like, oh man, Steve Engel, look at he usually likes anything. So he didn't like this one. So here it is. You judge for yourselves. Nail Bite, I Am the Sun off their Lost Travelers album. Here it is. We'll be right back. That is the number 128 of the Rikki ROXX Show, Rocks100.com.
Judgment Day, gone away. This won't become my prison. Born of the sword, I burn everyone. Sword for the one that you'll never find. Long join the word. Have I finally found someone to burn? On of the sword, I burn everyone. Sword for the one that you'll never find. Long join the word. Have I finally found someone to burn? Become my prison. On of the sword, I burn everyone. Sword for the one that you'll never find. Come join the word. Have I finally found someone to burn? On of the sword, I burn everyone. Sword for the one that you'll never find. Come join the word. Have I finally found someone to burn?
How did we not lose every listener?
So there it is. This week's Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week, Nailbite of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and their song I Am the Sun off their Lost Travelers 9-song album released in 2021. Check it out on Spotify if you dug it, Facebook.com/NailbiteOfficial and the number 2 or NailbiteOfficial.com. Kevin Raslaw, what'd you think, man?
That mix was just terrible. Like, it literally sounds like they recorded it with like an 8-track player or whatever, some ancient fucking tech, and then didn't have it mixed or mastered, and we're just like, here, throw it on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, like, regardless of the fucking video, just the overall audio recording sound was horrible.
Well, what'd you think of the song? You know, if you take the...
I can't be unbiased because they put in a very lackluster product. Like, the song could be really good if it was, like, layered and I mean, I can't judge that based off of what I just saw.
Yeah.
But what I just listened to, ooh. I'm trying to not be an asshole, but man, that recording was really horrible. Like, I mean, come on. Like,
I'm just letting you take the bullet on this one.
Holy moly.
So, not a fan of Nailbite. Or is it just like the recording?
The recording just fucks it for me. Like, I could see them live and they could be really good for all I know. But, like, you know when you record.
Yeah.
And then when you get shit mixed and mastered.
Yeah.
It comes alive. This is like dead.
Wow. Kevin Razlock.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but the overall product for 2021.
Yeah.
Like if you would have said, yeah, this is a throwback from their original CD in like 2011, I would have been like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Man, oh, well, there it is. Nailbite of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So we're going to drown
Steve Engel just dropped in. Don't make me stand up and shout.
Jesus. Steve Dave, you didn't lose me because I was in my kitchen making Detroit-style deep dish.
Oh, there you go. We're rubbing off on you.
Yes, we're going to rub off all over you.
Jesus Christ.
Steve Dave. All right, we're going to get into our beer of the week.
Yeah.
We
I got sidetracked on my tirade of their poor recording.
Jesus. All right, so this week we are going back to Three Floyds Brewing out of
Three Floyds, what?
Out of Munster, Indiana, and their Barbarian Haze IPA. This is a 6.5 ABV, 63. Ooh.
Having some trouble there, Richard.
Well, I'm trying to get the pour sound.
Oh, geez.
And it was a very poor sound. Okay, so 6.5% ABV, 63 IBUs. This is a New England Hazy IPA. Pick this up for $10.99 for 6 12-ounce cans from Meyer in Chesterfield, Michigan. A huge grocer up here in the Midwest. Description on this one: at long last, we bring you our take on a hazy IPA. It's no secret that most of our portfolio is hop forward, flavorful, and unfiltered. With Barbarian Haze, we took the hopping protocol a bit further, using some new age brewing alchemy coupled with our old school heavy-handed approach. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Fans of this style will recognize the complex soft malt character that helps balance the generous hop additions for supreme drinkability. BeerAdvocate.com gave this an 8.8 out of 10. Where does Kevin Razlock fall?
Well, I mean, just based off of my first couple sips, it's actually pretty damn good.
Here is the... you're not going to be able to see that can for shit.
I'm always horrible at trying to describe beers that I like, at least. I don't know. The shitty ones are always pretty easy to describe.
It has a nice frothy head.
That's because you poured it like a bitch.
Wow. I like head.
Oh, Jesus. No, I don't even know how to describe it. It's good though. I mean, I like it. Ricky's the connoisseur over here.
Okay.
It's better than last week's.
Well, last week's we gave it a high rating because we had that.
Or was that the week before?
The week before we had the Three Floyds. Last week we had the Jolly Pumpkin.
That's right.
Yeah, this one, you're getting your basic IPA taste out of this one. It does have a little bit more of a fruity kind of taste to it rather than the potpourri kind of plant.
It's kind of hazy.
Rather than the plant thing, it is a little bit smoother than your normal IPA that would leave your mouth dry and kind of chalky or whatever. This is a little bit smoother than a normal IPA, but it still has that, a little bit of that dry kind of IPA feel to it. Not very, they threw out heavy-handed and, with their hops and all that. It's really not all that hoppy. 63 IBUs. It's
pretty thick though, and there's a lot of floaters. So maybe that's what more so they were gearing towards.
There are floaters in there. Hopefully that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a solid IPA. I mean, for $10.99, you can't go wrong with it. This is a huge step up from
this
that,
would be
that
good
Three
for like
Floyds.
the person on the fence about IPAs.
Last time we had a Three Floyds, that was that Gumball Land, and you gave it a 6.5, I gave it a 4. And This is marginally high. You know, this is your standard IPA. You know, it's a little bit smoother than It's
an IPA with training wheels.
Well, I wouldn't even say that. It's
or has my palate adjusted that much?
You know, your IPA with training wheels would be like a Two-Hearted Ale or something like that, or one of those mainstream kind of things. This is kind of that, but it has a little bit more to it. It's a little smoother. You get a little bit different taste than like the potpourri, very heavy hop, like 100 IBU hops, which those are crazy. It's nothing amazingly special. But this is a good take on
it flies
on
under the
IPA.
radar. Like, it's good, but it's not like, oh my God, what is this? It's like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so what do you think in scale of 1 to 10?
8.5.
8.5?
Yeah.
All right, so you're giving this about a B. I'm just gonna go a solid 8. It's like I said, it's nothing earth-shattering. If you've had an IPA, you've had something like this before. It's a little bit different take on your normal hazy IPA or normal New England IPA. So yeah, I mean, for $10.99 for 6 12-ounce cans, it's not a bad deal.
I'd give it the thumbs up.
Yeah, there it is. So yeah, the Three Floyds, you redeemed yourself. That Gumball Head was wretched. This is marginally better. So congratulations to Three Floyds. You don't completely suck. Just that one beer so far. Next week, we're going to go back to Jolly Pumpkin and have one of their, the last one I got from Jolly Pumpkin. And the week after that, we're going to close out our Three Floyds 3 beers. Oh, that should have been a thing. Three Floyds 3 beers. Damn it. Fuck that one up. They do 2 for Tuesday. And I'm like, I could have had like the Three Floyd 3 and we could have done back to back. Ah, damn it. That would have been
Keep
a cool
it in
show.
the memory bank for in the future, Rikki.
So we are at 8 o'clock. I got to throw in a music video here for Stickman. God damn. This beer's fucking my head up.
Don't blame it on the beer.
Yes, it's all the beer. So Kev, run through the chat real quick so I can get this music video all queued up here.
Chris was not a fan. Steve Hinkle said, "Don't make me stand up and shout." And then Dave followed up with, "There's not enough alcohol in my system and not enough makeup on your face to allow you to rub off on me."
Oh, Jesus Christ. He wants a drag queen.
You heard it here first, folks.
Okay, so I got this music video pulled up from Stickman, their song "Just Me." If you don't remember Stickman and you are normally on the show, they were our Pump It or Dump Band of the Week on November 6th with their song "Just Me." This video we're about to watch, and it got 31 votes, and they did phenomenally awesome. Reach out to the band. This is the thing. When people send me messages on Rocks 100, through that page, they never pop up as I got a message. I have to go in there and actually look to see if I have any messages. So I missed it. Like, he hit me up and Des, the drummer we're gonna be talking to, he hit me up at the beginning of December, and I just saw it last week. I'm like, oh dude, I'm so sorry I fucked this up, but we can get you in this week if you want. He's like, all right, super cool.
So, just an aside, a little tangent, if you will.
Yeah.
There was a band that hit us up because I saw the notification.
Yeah.
The one about the guys in the band aren't all about interviews, but lucky for you, I am.
That's him.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, this is him.
Oh my God. I was like, how are the guys in the band not into doing interviews? That's
this is who we're talking to. Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, you got to get your band on track, bro.
Well, we can talk about that. All right, so here it is. Stickman, their song "Just Me." This was, like I said, our Pump It or Dump Band of the Week 2 months ago. And real quick before we get into this, head on over to IHatePeople.club. Vulgar clothing for the introvert and all of us. Use coupon code ROXX100 for 20% off your entire order. They ship worldwide, and they are Detroit local. All local printing companies, so super cool. Also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ROXX100. Exclusive Patreon-only merchandise, sticker, mug, poster, t-shirt, all available on our Patreon page. Support what we're doing here.
Des is in the green room right now, just an FYI.
He is in the green room, yes.
He just updated us.
Okay. So
the digital green room.
He's it says right there, in the waiting room.
There we go.
So we're going to get Des on right after this. Stickman, Just Me, episode number 128 of the Rikki ROXX Show, ROXX100.com.
appears and shows. How it didn't hit me. Oh, you know just how it goes. It's not just me. I'm under pressure. It's taking hold. It won't release me, and it shows. I've got this feeling I can't let go. It won't defeat me, and it shows. How it didn't hit me. Oh, you know just how it goes. It's not just me. How it keeps on missing. Oh, you know just how it goes. It's not just me. How it didn't hit me. Oh, you know just how it goes. It's not just me. How it keeps on missing. Oh, you know just how it goes. It's not just me. It's not just me. It's not just me. It's not just
All right, there it is. That was Stickman and their song "Just Me." Now we'll move on to the most difficult part of the show: seeing if we can get them on the Zoom, get them on the tip here, and we'll be talking to Des Vegas, the drummer for Stickman. So let's see if we can get this working. Or do we got you? Can we hear you? Oh no.
We can see him.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Oh, no. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? There's only so many options.
You need to make like a 1-point lesson for this.
Can you hear me now? Are you muted? Jesus. Can you hear me? Original sound. Let's try this. Can you hear me now?
This is why you should have went to Specs Howard.
God damn. Can you hear me now? Jesus. Are we muted? We're trying this again. I love this. All right, maybe we'll get Des Vegas in here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? There's only so many options I have. Can you hear me? No, that's headphones. So that. Save the system. Can you hear me now? So I have two options here. This is horrible. I hate technology. I hate it. This is horrible. It's so cool when it works, but then when it doesn't, I look like an unprofessional douche. Okay, can you hear me now? got it on. I might just have to send him a phone number. Don't you love radio? This is great. All right, hopefully, if you can hear me, see if you're muted. Are you muted? Well, at least he's got his Timmy hose. Same as system. Okay, can you? I got two things here. Can you see me? Okay, I'm just gonna send him a phone number. We're gonna do this old school. Hold on, give me one. Say something, Kev.
Oh Lord. How many times have you done this, Rikki?
Sometimes it works.
Sometimes. So what are you doing differently this time?
I'm not doing anything. I have two options here. I have the microphone thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is that, or same as system. It's not that Elgato thing. That's something that doesn't work. Well, he's not on there. So this is the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's a speaker where we're going to hear him.
Yeah.
Okay. And that headphone jet thing right here feeds into this channel that I have on.
I get that.
And okay, I guess we're just going to do a phone call. Can you hear me now? We're just going to do a phone call.
Hey, boys.
Okay,
Hey.
so that works. All right, we're just going to do this old school.
Hey, boys.
Okay, so that works. Why? All right, we're just going to do this old school.
You
fucking train
You're
wreck.
totally cutting out too.
All right, can you hear? Is everything good now?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Okay, so we have Des Vegas. Zoom wasn't working for whatever reason. I tried all my settings and all that, and nothing was working. So how's it going, man? How is it in sunny Vancouver?
Yeah, nice and sunny, that's for sure. We just ended up getting about, I don't know, a foot of snow maybe the other night. That probably doesn't compare to you guys though, eh?
No, well, we got
a dusting compared to you guys.
We got like 2 or 3 inches, and
Really?
yeah,
Oh wow, I think that's tons out there.
yeah, it's where we are in Detroit, we don't get as much snow as you would on the other side of the state and all that, but you guys definitely get marginally more snow than us.
Michigan, when we were growing up, it was like a lot of snow.
Yeah.
Now with global warming and everything, it was like 60 fucking degrees and then a couple inches of snow.
Yeah.
Now it's cold.
Last winter here was pretty mild, and we were all thinking like, wow, we're like the new California. We're gonna end up with these really nice, mild winters. So much for that. We just ended up having a polar vortex that came through here for about a week. It was like -8 to -20, and that's just not our typical temperatures.
Yeah, that's pretty cold.
Yeah.
That sucked balls.
So what's the, I hate to go back to it because this is like a 2-year thing, but what's the COVID situation looking like up there? Here in Michigan, it's hell on earth right now with this new variant and all that. How's it all working out in Vancouver and that side of Canada? Are you guys having the lockdowns, the shutdowns and all that, or is it pretty tame out there?
We had, it seemed like we were getting a handle on it. Things were opening up again. We were starting to gig, which was awesome. We missed that so much. And, with the new album, at the time, when everything was closed, COVID for us, it didn't slow us down as a band. Right at the time COVID hit, we were going into the studio to record the new album. So that was our main focus. So that was all we did for, we couldn't go into the studio right away because everything was closed. But, after a couple of months, studios opened up. And that was what we focused on, just banging that out. So by the time things started to come back around and open up, we had our new album, and we just came out with that. It lasted, I guess things were open quite a while, 6-8 months or so. I don't know, but just recently everything closed back down just around, just before Christmas, I guess. Everything was like, okay, for the next month we're closing clubs and, all that sort of stuff. So we're kind of on the back burner again, sitting here. But yeah, things are heating up for sure. I don't know what your numbers are like out there, but we're getting reports that the numbers are just like out of control, as to where they were 6 months ago.
Yeah, I just, I'm the one schmuck that I actually watch the news and all this stuff in the morning. And I guess the COVID cases here in Detroit and Michigan anyway are like comparable to where they were as far as infections, like when we had that huge, I guess, second wave, I guess, of COVID and all that. But I guess the good thing is that now I guess there's a lot less people getting insanely sick like people were like during that second wave or the first wave and all that, so I guess that's a good thing. And, a lot of people, like the doctors and all that, they're like, this Omicron thing is a lot like, less bad than the former strain. So like this is showing that we're getting towards the end of this pandemic. This might be the last wave of something until it becomes an endemic where it's just something like the cold or the flu and it pops up every winter.
So I knew some people that just before Christmas got it, and I was like, oh God, here we go. And it was pretty mild for them, basically cold symptoms. So that was good to see that. I had invites to go out to parties for New Year's, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying home.
Right. Steve Engel from Mississauga, Ontario, one of our huge fans here. He says, you can have all the snow that fell here today in Toronto area since you never get it enough in Vancouver. So there's some East-West Canada.
No, I feel for you guys back east. I've been back east during their winters, and it sucks, man.
Yeah, like Calgary, they have tunnels and shit to like go underground in between buildings.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Wow. I used to work for a company where their headquarters was in Calgary, so I had to talk to them all the time.
We're in the bunker.
Well, no, it was really funny. He's like, "Oh, I gotta like go to this other building because I was doing some IT work with him." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Well, I gotta go through this tunnel underground," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, it's like 30 below here." He's like, "Have you never been to Calgary?" And I'm like, "No, I have not."
Now I never want to go. So let's get to the band. You guys were our Pump It or Dump Band of the Week about 2 months ago, and finally got you on the line and got you on the show. You mentioned that the shutdown actually kind of worked. Didn't really hold you guys back because you were just getting ready to go into recording the new album.
Really, it actually helped us to focus more, I think, than it would have. I'm kind of the guy that seeks out the shows and that sort of thing. And the guys were telling me, stop booking shows.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go to the studio and record these songs. So, up to that point, we were quite busy. So it was kind of a forced break that worked in our favor for sure. Yeah.
Well, it's always a tough balance because I've always been in the position of doing booking, and it's like, oh, we got this really good opportunity. Like, we're playing this venue, like we're going to get paid. Right. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, one show here, there's really not going to like throw a cog in the wheel of like what the band does behind the scenes. And the next thing you know, you're like, well, we can't even fucking go and record. We can't practice because we have all these shows. And I feel like we've all been there, but to identify that, it's tough because you want to play. That's what we're all here to do.
My work ethic has always been if there's work, you go work, and that especially with music because you're constantly hungry to get out there. But there has to be a balance where you can say, okay, look, we really do need to focus on this part of it, so we have something new to play at shows.
So, and I was mentioning this before we played the song. When you originally were messaging us, you were like, yeah, the rest of the band's not really into doing interviews, but, luckily for you guys, I am. How the heck is the drummer the only person in the band that's willing to do interviews? That's quite the conundrum.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, Kim has done interviews with me before. Randy is usually way too busy. The guy works nonstop. So for him, he's always kind of, I'll fit it in if I can sort of thing. And but Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of like they have their jobs and I have my job sort of thing. So I'm kind of the media guy, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Well, nobody ever sees the drummer, so this is his opportunity to be in the forefront
of their band.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, man.
And I'm not comparing you to a not good drummer, by the way. I mean that with like full support from a fellow drummer. It's super cool that you're taking the reins because it's not super common for drummers to, I guess, be the ones doing interviews and PR guys.
Yeah, because, all the pictures and all that, the drummer, you never get a picture of the drummer. It's always the singer or guitar player. So now it's like, oh, well, if you're not going to get any pictures of me, I can be the guy that does all the talking.
In the beginning, when the band first came together, I kind of saw there was a need for it, for someone to take the reins to, start getting us shows and that sort of thing. And Kim and Randy are amazing writers. The band works in such a unique way, I find, as far as the writing style goes. Kim will come to us. He'll have a song pretty much together. And we go, oh, okay, and then we'll listen to it and then kind of pull it apart, put it back together with our own touches on everything. So that is more their job. In the meantime, I'm kind of behind the scenes finding us places to go play. And it's just worked out so well that now I joke about that and say, well, we all have our jobs, right? So I tell them, you know what? You don't want to do interviews, man? Go and just write killer music. That's your job. Go write killer music. My job is to find us places to go.
That's very interesting because I remember we were talking to a band, it was either last week or the week before, and we were talking about how the band goes about writing songs. And, you mentioned that it's like usually just one guy who's like, we got a song or here's a song, then you pick it apart and put it all back together.
Kind of jealous.
Is that strange for you? Because, a lot of bands are like, dude, we all need to throw our input in to make this song together. But you guys are like literally the complete opposite. You have a guy's like, hey, here's a song. Let's, here's the chorus, here's the verse, and here's my wicked guitar solo I'm going to melt faces with. Yeah. And, he's like, all right, here's a song. Let's do something with it. Is that weird for you, and the rest of the guys?
Yeah, I've never been in a band that writes this way. I've always been in bands that, like you say, it's like, okay, I've got a guitar riff. I've got the bass riff will go along with the guitar. Now, drummer, put your stamp on it, and that's always been fine. I love being creative and all that. But to be in this band is, it's a different animal for sure. Kim, like I say, he is just a writing machine. He never stops. He's always coming up with something new. And when we think we're about to run out of stuff, no, I've got about another 40, 50 songs in the queue here that will, I'll pick what I think is the best ones and present them to you guys. And not to say that, Kim writes the song complete and this is the way you sing it and this is the way you play it. No, there's the song. He loves the fact that he can come in and also they're multi-instrumental. So Kim can play guitar, bass, and drums. He comes from drums as a kid. A little backstory on all of us. We're friends from grade 8 band class. You can believe that one. So
I failed band class.
I tried to play guitar myself at one point, and I ended up just taking it in the backyard and smashing it because I couldn't. I was so frustrated trying to learn guitar, so I just went back and said, you know what, I'm a drummer. That's what I am. I'll play drums. So Kim will come in and he'll say, here's a song. Him and Randy will work out the harmonies and the melodies and all that good stuff. And next thing you know, it's a song. And then the bare bones are there for me, I guess you could say. And they love it. They'll tell me, like, well, try this. We have jokes in practice, like, cause they, Kim can be more technical when he's trying to tell me what to do. But, Randy, he tries to play drums or whatever, but he'll tell me like sounds that he wants to hear.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah,
play boom, boom, top, top, boom, boom, cling.
That's the favorite one from Randy. Daka, daka, daka. And then Kim will be like, be more caveman. Blum, blum, blum. Because I like to get fancy right off the hop, And then by the end of the day, when we have a song, the three of us have just put so much into it that we end up putting out exactly what we were all going for in the beginning. It's frustrating at times for sure. we'll have the arguments and stuff where I think, no, that should be this way. And, like any band, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, we fight through it and end up putting out, stuff. At the end of the day, we all love each other. And that's the main thing, is to put out the music that we want to put out too. That's another thing too. We get compared to Alice in Chains a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine with me. I love Alice in Chains. They're probably my favorite band of all time. That whole Seattle scene, with like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, all those amazing bands, they were all such a huge influence on us, growing up in bands and everything. Kim will tell you out of the gate he's not an Alice in Chains fan, and that I don't know where he gets his real, inspiration. He just writes, and the songs that he comes up with, I find maybe, reminiscent of that era, but at the same time, there's something about the three of us being in the room and coming out with a song that is us, you know what I mean? And the comparison's great. Like I say, I don't mind it at all, but if you're going to get compared to something, how about get compared to your favorite band, right?
Well, I mean, I definitely got the Alice in Chains comparison, and then with the video, I kind of got like more of a Foo Fighters vibe with like Big Me, like having the comedic side of it, which I fucking think is really good to put a good song and then have like a fun video. It's not as easy as it appears, but I kind of wanted to backtrack a little bit, just given the band dynamic. So like we had mentioned everybody in the band has their job, right? You being the drummer, taking care of the PR, the booking, this, and that. I've been in those exact shoes, and my hopes were, I'm doing all this. When we come to practice, guitar players, bring like half of a song or like a riff. And then like, I would say, don't worry about promoting on Facebook. Don't worry about sharing posts. Just do your craft and do it well. And then, we'd get into the basement and start working on writing. Oh man, I ain't got nothing. And that's where it really, I'm saying I'm jealous because I've been in your shoes, but I did not get those results of the guitar player. I'm like, oh, here's a whole song. Like, let's pick it apart. Let's do this. It was, okay, what do you got? I don't know. Like, how should we write this? Where should we go? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I do the booking. I do this. I do this. So
I know how lucky I am to be in this band. I don't take it for granted at all. I've been around the block enough years and played in enough bands to realize when there's something special.
And, a question, that came up, you were talking that you're saying that you have known these guys for years and years and years and years, since like 8th grade. What was the catalyst of bringing you guys together? Because you also mentioned that you were in all these different bands that were different.
Yeah.
What brought you guys together to form a band after knowing each other for so long, and I guess everybody else doing their own thing in between, 8th grade and forming the band? What brought the band together?
So it kind of a long story short, we played in a practice space. I'll give him a shout out. It's Mystic Rhythms in Langley, BC. He runs like multiple rooms practice space. So there's like 5-6 rooms in this place. And I was just fooling around with some friends, just lame covers and stuff. Hey, what song do you know? What song do you know? Just to keep the chops up, sort of thing, right? And across the hall, Kim and Randall were in there, and they had this name on the door, the Alan Alda Project. And I kind of laughed when I walked past it and thought it was a funny name. When I went to leave, the manager of the place, he says, hey, you should go up in the room 3 or whatever it was. The guys know you. And I was like, oh, and they said for you to come up and say hi before you left. On my door, because I booked the room, my name was on the door, so they recognized my name. We hadn't seen each other in at least 10 years probably. And so I walked in and, hey, catch up and chit chat for a while. In between all those times outside of high school, I played in some other bands. We would play the odd show where we would see each other, like we would be on the same show. That happened once there, and it was kind of nice to see them after high school because they were doing much better in their band than I was at my time in the band I was in. So I kind of was like, wow, man, you guys sound great, sort of thing. And then you lose touch and whatever. So come this day, we just chatted for a little bit, and then I left. And as I was leaving, the manager again, he said, you know what, they're looking for a drummer. You should hit them up because their music's pretty good. And I said, okay, yeah, maybe, and that night I messaged Kim and I said, I hear you're looking for a drummer. And he said, yeah, you interested? And I said, well, sure, man, send me over your stuff. So he emailed me probably half of the first album. And at the time they were just more or less like when I say he comes to us with basically a full song, he does it at home on his computer. So he's got, bass and drums and guitar, and, sometimes it has lyrics, sometimes not. So that was what he sent me. And I swear I was probably 1, 2, 3 songs, maybe halfway through the third song. And I emailed him back. I said, yeah, I'm in. Send me the rest, because it was so good, man. I was just completely blown away. I was not expecting it to be that good, right? And that's kind of how we catch people too. I mean, you know how tough it is as an unknown band, really, to get people out to your show. But every time we get people out to a show, they're like, holy shit, you guys, we were not expecting that. So after I learned the songs, maybe about 2 weeks later, had my audition with them, and they're like, yeah, let's do something, right? Well, they already had been working together for months and had our first album pretty much written. So they're like, okay, we want to record in, 3 weeks, a month or whatever. I'm like, holy hell. I go, okay, all right. So I learned it as best I could and went in. That's why the first album, it's a little timid as far as the drums go. But, once we got working together and everything, the album that's come out now, I feel is like, it really represents us well as to, what we are as a band, even live. We didn't capture that the first time because we did it ourselves. Kim was branching out and trying to, learn with his laptop and produce us, so because we didn't know where it was going to go. We didn't want to go spend thousands and go into a big studio and for what, not even stay together for 6 months. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
But the songs they're great songs. I'm super proud of the first album. Don't get me wrong, but the production value is, on the lower end by doing it ourselves. So when it came time to do this second album, I said to Kim and Randall, these songs, guys, these songs are so fucking good. Let's not do it ourselves. Let's hand it to somebody. So through, contacts that I have made and bands, in the local scene, I came across a friend of mine's band and I said, holy man, who produced you guys? Because that's so good. So he gave me a name for a studio, Matt Roach at Rain City Studios in Vancouver here. And so Matt came out to a show and he's like, let's make a record, you guys. This is killer. And we went into the studio and, oh my God, the production that we got out of him, like he got the best out of us. And I'm so happy that we ended up going with him. He captured our live sound as best I think anybody could, and aside from doing a live album, right? But I'm so happy with the outcome of this album. And yeah, we threw a bunch of money into this for sure. But, looking back at it now, I'm so glad that we did.
Well, just to build on that, if you do want to backtrack on our episode and listen to the Pump It or Dump It this week, they didn't give a shit about anything after recording. And your guys' shit sounds infinitely better.
Jeez.
Infinitely.
Oh, we take it seriously. I think one of our biggest fears as a band is going out and looking like a joke. And we take that shit very seriously when we go. Okay, when you go to a show, what do you want to see? You want to see a fucking rock band. You want to see a band just blow your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was a kid and I would go to concerts, if they couldn't pull off what I had at home, I was pissed, man. I would leave halfway through the show. You guys fucking suck. You're a joke. And that was my impression. I would walk away. I probably wouldn't be a fan of that band anymore. So, I mean, like I was saying, it's hard to get people to come to shows, but we're building. We're getting more and more people at each show. And the best compliment I love after a show is like, holy shit, you guys, like I love hearing that, nothing better than hearing that to me, anyway.
Well, I mean, like, that's kind of the name of the game, though. I mean, the biggest struggle for me, and I think most bands, it's either if you could go see a band with no stage lights, no special effects, and they can just perform really, really well. And the definition of performing varies. You could go and see a band like Trivium, right? Or like August Burns Red back in the day before they actually made money. They just performed. They weren't doing any choreographed shit. They were literally just slaying. But then you have other bands like Steel Panther, like, and I'm not saying going that crazy, but they'll have more of the gimmick, the more of the show part, and then the music kind of flows with it. I've always been struggling with both of those things because I always want to just shred, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if we can put on a show, I don't know how to go about doing it, but it's just one of those things that always crossed my mind. So for you, and judging by your music video, you guys seem like the kind of band that would like to make your show a performance rather than just playing. Where do you fall on the spectrum for that?
So what we do is every, I don't want to say every show, but if we've got like, 2 or 3 shows together, we will play the same show. But then there might be a break, a month or 2 before we have the next one booked. And in that time, we will tear down our show. We have a sort of a structure. We have an opening song. If you listen to the new album, there's a song called Thick. It has a whole sitar beginning to it. It's such a hype intro, I guess, before the song starts. So we open with that. And to pull that off, we're like, well, no one knows how to play sitar in the band. What are we going to do? So we had to figure that out. Another obstacle. We ended up getting, it's like a drum pad, right? Where you can program sounds into it. So now that's my job. I have the pad beside me. I start the show. That is, we're able to recreate the album without, we want to give people the same thing that they're hearing at home.
Right.
On top of that, we want to put on a rock show. So there's, we're not at the end of every song, wrote this song, it's about this and that and blah, blah, blah. Okay, here it is. Hope you like it. It's nothing like that. We are a full rock show from start to finish. Randall, which is the bass player, he's the guy. He's our front man. He's the guy that takes the reins. He is hilarious, man. Like he keeps, I always get people going, man, your front man's hilarious. But there's another unique thing to our band is it's the bass player. It's not, it's not Kim, the guitar player, who you would think, right? The guy who writes, the guy who plays guitar, you kind of look to that person to be the front man. But as a 3-piece, we really got to pick up our game to be able to fill the sound and to put on a really killer show. And I think we do that.
So that leads me literally right into my next question perfectly. So with that being said, as a 3-piece, I mean, I've seen quite a few 3-pieces over the years that it kind of blew my mind when they brought that level of intensity in just like the overall sound. And like you were saying before, like you're rocking the pad, to do the intro for the song. I'm going to assume that you guys don't play to a clicker with backing tracks, correct?
I don't want to blow everyone's image of us, but yep, there's a click on my tracks.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it's I don't want to spoil the illusion.
You're not spoiling it, but
it's something every band, a lot of bands do.
He mentioned that they want to put on a show, and we've been doing this long enough to where we even realized, hey, to put on a show, we really need to hit the mark. And the only way you can hit the mark on playing a show is literally not choreographing the whole fucking show, but more or less choreographing the whole fucking show. Like, using that pad, like, that's awesome. But, like, if you look at any big band, it doesn't matter if it's Five Finger Death Punch, Architects, whatever, like, in between songs, they have everything choreographed down. So, like, you're literally watching a movie. It's a fucking intimate thing. And I think smaller independent bands, given technology, need to utilize that, because there's nothing worse than the band looking around, hey, like, when do we start the next song? And, hey, hold on, I'm fucking tuning. And it's like, you could be the best band alive, but if you do that, the musicians in the crowd are gonna go, like, even me, just fucking Joe Blow drummer, I'm gonna go, fuck these guys, man. Like, they're looking that serious, but like, come on, get your shit together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that we do that. I mean, there has to be room for spontaneity as well.
For sure.
Randall's really good at feeding off the crowd. If someone's, yelling something back at him, he's got something to say. He'll joke back. He's got stories that he'll just kind of spout out, little jokes and stuff like that. But it's like I said, we don't play one song and then explain the song and okay, here's the next song. It's like we'll play like 3 songs that really flow together really nicely. So, they'll end on a certain note. There's maybe a bit of a train crash, but yeah, and then we're right into the next song, into the third song. Then there's a bit of a break. Kim can tune, change guitars, Randy lights up the crowd, and then into the next maybe 2 songs or 3 songs. But also another thing that we really love to do, because you can lose your audience, right? If they don't know your songs, you can see people, they're looking at their watch, they're going to the can, whatever. We don't want that. We never want that. You want to engage your audience constantly. Yep. So what we've done, and we did it for ourselves in the beginning, is we slip in not full covers, but we'll play bits of covers that are just kind of linked into the middle of our song. So if there's a breakdown in the song, maybe we'll add a little bit of this. We'll go into this for, and seeing that as a kid, when I saw bands do that, I loved seeing that, how they, intricated this, a song that I knew, seeing their version, their take on it, how they do it, and then back into the same song that they were playing, right? So we have a song where at the end of it, just for instance, we go into War Pigs, and this lights up the crowd every single time, because who doesn't like War Pigs, right? But
that's actually really cool.
I've seen a lot of bands, start doing that, in the last couple of years. I must have
picked up on that.
It'll be something, on a very lamest thing. And Steve Dave actually had a question. He wants to know what a clicker is for people who aren't musically inclined. It's pretty much putting everything on a grid. Click, click, perfectly timed out. So you're not, as far as a drummer, you know what the beat is. Click, 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 click.
So my parents were always like, what are those things in their ears when they're performing? Whether it's the Beatles, Rolling Stones, whatever. And I go to my mom, you want to know what that drummer's hearing the entire time?
Yeah.
And then any backing tracks. My mom goes, that sounds like fucking torture. And I'm like, the first time I recorded to a click track, I remember the first 3 nights after, I'd be laying down to go to bed, and that's all I could fucking hear, nonstop. But I've spoken to other drummers. It's one of those things where once you do it a handful of times, and that's why I want to start doing it like literally every time, is the click track kind of just falls into the back of your mind. It's there to keep you there, but you're not just focusing on the click, 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 click. So, but yeah.
I refer to it as the police. If the police are on me, then I will stay on the beat.
There you go.
I'm a bit of I grew up with Tommy Lee, that guy was my hero, is my hero to this day. That's what I idolized. So I play like that. I hit the drums like I'm going to go through them. And people always say to me, man, you're so into it, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm into it, man. I'm in a different zone up there. So that being the plus side, that people pick up on the passion, and who doesn't love to see someone, really, killing their instrument, right? But on the negative side of that is I lose where my whole thing. I'll speed up, I'll slow down, and the guys they don't let me get away with shit. So we've had some struggles with it for sure. But coming up with this pad and allowing us to put a click to everything, it immediately solves the problem. Like, we're such a tighter band for this now, and it's not only making us tighter, but stronger. The whole show now is just like, we're all together, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, for me, that was my struggle too with a click, was if you're trying to perform, when you're hearing the whole band, it's really easy to just be like, fucking give it your all. when you have those in-ears in and you're hearing the click, like, you're almost not able to feed off of the energy of the band or the crowd. Like, you're kind of just focused on playing, and then the performance side of it kind of just like, Now, the one bright spot is we're drummers and not really many people pay attention to us. So as long as we're sticking to our shit, we're good to go. But I don't know. It's always nice to see a good drummer, like, looking like, he's fucking enjoying himself.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're a three-piece too, where you can focus on, you can watch Randall when he's talking, you can watch Kim when he's shredding, and when we're playing as a song, if I'm wailing away, people are going to watch me too. And I get told often, like, man, you were just killing it up there. And that's awesome to hear, that, like you say, the drummer can get lost for sure.
Definitely.
And something, going back, since we've been doing this show, we've been doing this for over 2 years now. And, when we first started, we were getting like a ton of killer rock bands from Vancouver. It literally got us out of nowhere.
We almost booked a trip out there, and they were going to put on a show and have us, like, it was going to be the Rikki ROXX Roadshow kind of thing.
Yeah, and there was just like all these
so cool.
Yeah, just like all these killer rock bands. Like, we played Getaway Van, which was the first exposure, I guess, we got to Vancouver.
Then we had like 5 or 6 other Vancouver area bands, immediately.
So what do you attribute to that sound and, Vancouver just having, great rock bands, because like we're from Detroit, and like Detroit Rock City, and it's not like that at all. It's a lot of kind of like doomy metal. Why do you think the reason is that Vancouver, us here in Detroit, when we get exposed to Vancouver bands, they're just phenomenal rock and roll bands? Is it where you are and that Seattle's right across the line?
Starbucks, man.
What is it about Vancouver that makes good rock bands?
I I really can't speak to it. Maybe it's because we're close to Seattle. But yeah, you're nailing it there. Once I was in this band and we started going to the clubs and seeing other bands, playing with other bands, it was like my eyes, man, were just like poof. They're just like opened, because I really hadn't been in the scene for a lot of years. But coming back into it, I dove head first into finding the bands, going out and supporting these bands. And going back, a lot of this was introduced to me from Matt at Rain City, who did our album. He would tell me, he's like, go check out this band Redwoods, amazing, go check out Sleep Circle, amazing. So that's what I was doing. I just listened to him and say, okay, give me some more, because those two were rad.
Yeah, we had Sleep Circle on the show. Yep, that was one of the bands we had on here too. Sleep Circle had them on the show.
Oh, yeah, my brothers, man, my brothers. They're so we actually have a show coming up with them in March, if everything goes through. I mean, the clubs are shut down right now, but hopefully they open up in the next month here, and we'll go forward with those. But as far as where we all get our sound from, I don't know. I don't take anything away from the Cookie Monster vocals and those type of bands that it just sounds like a wall of sound. It's not my thing. But man, those drummers, holy hell, how do they do it? It sounds like they got about 14 arms, 6 legs.
Tell me about it, bro.
Oh, here goes Kevin.
It's unreal. You got to sit back and just go, you know what? I'm not that kind of drummer, man. I grew up with Tommy Lee and Alex Van Halen. That's what I was drawn to. But yeah, I get it. Maybe it's because we're close to Seattle. Maybe it's everyone just taking all the influences that they have, throwing them into the big pot, and producing what they do. But I always say, when we're in the practice space and the guys might be kind of second guessing, well, should we do this? Should the riff go like this? Just write what you want to write. That's all you can do. And if people dig it, then that is amazing. And so far we've been pretty lucky with what we do, with what we put out. People are just digging it. So that's all you can really ask for.
I think that's probably your biggest takeaway from that is not really having a restriction per se, and that was one of the things I loved the most about like going out, whether it was doing a full-on tour or like Weekend Warriors. you know, you go to Kentucky or you go to Florida, you go to Alabama, like their music isn't the same music that we write in Detroit. And it's really nice to see different styles, different, maybe it's their fucking heritage or culture, you know, whatever the case may be. And that influences, and it influences them to just write a certain way. And I mean, there's been plenty of bands where I was like, oh, you know, these guys aren't really that good, but like I could take something away from the guitar player doing this or the drummer doing this or the vocalist doing that. And I think that's one of the best things about music is when you can go and organically see something, I guess, kind of new, because realistically most music's already been done and recycled over and over, but it's not the bullshit you hear on the radio. It's not the bullshit you see on TikTok and all that. There's, I guess the best way to describe it is there's more of like a genuine, like, okay, these guys are doing it because they care, they fucking love it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's the beauty of music.
I have joined. It's a kind of a music group, I guess, whatever, on Facebook called "Don't Kill the Vibe," and it got started out maybe 6-8 months ago, and now it's up to like over 2,000 people on it or something. But I have met so many bands that, I mean, how else would you have ever heard of these people? You know, Kansas, a lot of bands coming out of Kansas that are just amazing bands, you know. And
they ain't got shit to do out there, man.
It's such a treat to hear some of these gems that are just like, holy shit, that's good music, man. So you reach out to them and you share, you know, your music with them, and it's like the feedback from, you know, your peers, you know, like when you hear a song, you're like, holy shit, that's a good song. And you reach out to that band and say, hey man, you guys are awesome. And they're like, well, let's hear yours. And you give them theirs and they're like, shit, that's a good song. And it's a validation from, you know, the whole scene, right?
Is that primarily fan driven or is it more musician driven, that group?
I would say it's probably 75% bands on there. And, are you familiar with it?
No, and the reason why I ask is because, like, that puts me in a conundrum. Because bands, everyone in a band typically is somewhat respectful of other artists. But bands don't necessarily make you money, fans make you money. And that's always that struggle where, like, if it's 90% or even 70% band, I'm like, okay, it makes sense to post, maybe get your name out there. But there comes a point where it's like, if it's not more fan driven, it's not going to necessarily be worth the time per se. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but from a business standpoint, we're in this to make some sort of money. Bands don't necessarily pay the bills, but they might get you into a market you might not have gotten into, which, you know, every band will be in that spot. I need to get into Kansas. Oh, there's these guys in Kansas. Let's network. That's great. But to make it to the next level, you got to get the fans. And that's where it's one of those things where, depending on the life cycle of the band, where you're at, that might not necessarily make the most sense to, like, divert, you know, effort and money and time into that.
The cool thing about this group, too, was I started talking to a lot of fans, and then they were hitting me up, which I wasn't used to. So I got a lot, and it allowed me to post our video, post our music, you know, let people know about us here on the West Coast. And I would say that our numbers, our Facebook numbers, I mean, hey, who really gives a shit in the end, right? Likes and follows and all that. They increased so much. Like, it was just, it went up so quickly, and I was really happy with it. I think it's peaked now where it's going to be, but continually every day, you know, and I'm getting more people adding me and the band, and getting you know, the comments like, hey, that's a really good song, you know, and that's awesome to hear that. But I don't put a lot of energy into that page or anything like that. I'm actually taking a break from the social media thing. I was doing it for the first couple of years of the band, and I found I was getting burnt out. I didn't know what to post anymore and that sort of thing. And especially once we were in the writing and the recording mode, and, you know, Kim took it over, and he does most of that now. So he kind of takes care of the Instagram, and I take care of the Facebook somewhat. I mean, he's doing a lot more than I am right now, but
Well, I mean, you got to take a break, but at the end of the day, I wasn't poo-pooing that whole thing. Some of our listeners are musicians, some are fans, and that's where the lines get kind of muddied because fans look at things very differently than bands look at things when we're talking about music and the whole business side of it. But at the end of the day, if there's a medium for you to get your name out there, whether it's bands or fans, fucking do it. It's just one of those things where you're typically not going to fill the venue with bands. You got to fill it with fans.
So. I, to be honest, I did it more from a selfish point of view, really, because I have music ADD 100%. Like, I'll listen to music and I'll be like, what's the next thing? I need something new. And I get tired of the radio, man. Like, it's the same thing over and over and over again.
Pearl Jam at the top of the hour.
That's why we're here. I've heard Avenged Sevenfold 34 times on my drive to work today. What the fuck?
I love Pearl Jam, and I love all that scene, I do, but I need something new. I need something I've never heard before, and I will always go back to my classics, always. But
what's the one song? Everflow, Evenflow?
Evenflow.
You can only hear Evenflow fucking so many times before you're like, okay, come on, give it a break.
Yeah, exactly. No, I hear you, right? You got to take a break and get some new stuff in you, right? And that's what I was finding. A lot of it, wasn't grabbing me either, but I would say 1 out of 10 bands that I would talk to, I'd be like, holy shit, that's really good, man. You guys really got something there.
And something you brought up, earlier was that, you're slowly starting to see, more and more people coming out to see you guys, and I'm surprised Kevin hasn't touched on this yet, but, is there any, 2022, if things open up and become more conducive, do you see, Stickman being able to, I don't know what other big cities near Vancouver, go out to Calgary or Edmonton or whatever cities are out there?
We've talked about it. We have connections up, they call it interior from here, places like Kelowna and Kamloops, Vernon, and Nelson is another one. Also, too, there's Vancouver Island here, which has Victoria and Nanaimo and a couple of little places out there that we can get to. It's more or less a matter of time, right? Because at our age, we're families and bills and jobs and all that. To get us all on the same grid and say, okay, we're going to go out for 4 or 5 days or whatever. It's doable, and we've talked about it. It's just a matter of hooking that up. And when I was looking into it, it was still really early stages of coming out of COVID, where things were just opening again. And it was getting to that point where, okay, you know what, we'll leave that on the back burner for now. Let's, focus on town. And we did that for a while and played some really amazing shows. And like I say, and now things are shut down again. So kind of waiting for things to open back up before we can look at that again. I would love to go and do that, though.
From a geographical standpoint, because I know some of the areas Rikki pointed out were probably a little further, would it be easier and quicker to go into the States if that's viable and hit like Seattle and like
Portland
or like in North California?
I would love to go down and do those places too. But the problem with that is we all need visas to do it.
Gotcha.
And the visas aren't cheap. $500 a person to go and do it.
Is that like per year, or how long do those last for?
Yeah, I think it's actually per trip. So if you are going into the States to play some shows, your trip could be 6 months. It's still going to be $500.
No shit.
Or it can be a week. It's still going to be $500 for your visa to cross in.
Wow.
The length of it, from what I understand, I think it's only as good as your show. So what I've always been told is book as many fucking shows as you can get and use it to your advantage to do it. But yeah, I think we would absolutely kill in Seattle and Portland.
Yeah, because I had a band that I worked with very briefly when they came from Canada into the States, and they actually were telling me a whole bunch of wild shit that they were getting grants from the government. Like every year they would get these grants for like a couple $1,000, whatever, because they're artists.
Yeah.
And yeah, like at the end of the day, from everything I have heard from like an independent band level, going from the States into Canada is like fucking next to impossible. There's a lot of red tape, but coming from Canada down into here is like easy peasy, no fucking problem.
I'd like to talk to that person then, because I've never experienced that, man.
I mean, if I can find out the information, I'll definitely relay it to you. I'm just going by what I've heard. It's super easy to come in from Canada. It's super hard from U.S. to go into Canada, but who knows?
I mean, we're like our where we live. We're like 20 minutes away from the border.
That's how we are too in Detroit. Like Ontario's an untapped market for fucking Michigan bands.
Shit, hey, right?
So
it was like 2 hours from us. Like we could go and do it and be home in the same night.
There you go. Yeah.
So we're at 9:00 out here in
Detroit, Rock City,
miserable Detroit. I know it's just about dinner time out by you guys, but we're in 2022 now. And I'm assuming that this COVID thing's gonna start its slow wind down and start tapering off, and things will start getting back to some kind of quote unquote normal. But what's the rest of the year look like for you guys? Are you guys just gonna keep hitting the pavement, keep playing these shows and growing the band? And any new music that you guys are, of course you guys are working on new music, but any new recordings, any new videos, anything coming out in the next little bit?
We've got a bunch of irons in the fire right now. We've been writing again just before the Christmas break. We've taken a couple weeks off here, but we've written probably, I want to say 4 or 5 new songs that are almost complete. And then we're going to look at recording those and slowly start releasing those. I mean, we worked on the album that we released in October. We worked on that for a good year, perfecting it, getting all ready to go, getting, ready to go in the studio and recording, and then mixing and mastering and getting it all ready to go to release. So we don't want to do that again. I think we wait, not to sound egotistical, but making people wait for new music sucks, You want to give them as much as you can. Here you go, blah. Here's 10 songs, but at the same time, you want to keep people's interest there too. So this time, I think we're going to do it a bit differently with the new music. Is just every 6 months or something, 3 months or whatever, drop 3 songs, right?
It sounds like
that's kind of
it definitely sounds like a good idea and all that, because like Kevin usually says, he ran up to the bathroom, but rather than throwing everything all out at once, stagger it and give people something new and keep them engaged in the band, rather than throwing everything out at once, and then after a while they start forgetting.
We've got a new video concept that we're just starting to kind of put together. We had such a good time doing that last video that we want to do something maybe not necessarily comical, but definitely story-wise. We found the first video that we did for the new album was called Me and You, and the concept kind of got lost in the video, I think, itself. I love the video and everything, but it doesn't really speak to the band or the song, and we really wanted to do something like that. Although the new video for Just Me, it doesn't, capture the song or anything like that, but it definitely says, hey, we're a rockin' band that doesn't really take ourselves too seriously. We want to give you something entertaining that rocks, and that's, I think we definitely captured that with Just Me. So we want to do something like that again with the newer video.
And lastly, is Kevin, did you have anything that you wanted to ask before I do my last question?
No, do it up, man.
All right. So since we're at 9:00, is there anything, because we've covered a lot of bases during this interview, we glossed over a lot of stuff. Is there anything that we missed? Is there anything we've missed that you want to get out to people that are either listening now or going to be listening, checking out the show throughout the week? Is there anything we missed you want to get out there?
You know what? Give unsigned bands a chance. Just give them a chance. Listen to their stuff. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You move on. But you know what? You're going to discover some gems if you just give it a chance. Myself, just discovering, new, just local talent. And I don't even just mean in Vancouver, man. Wherever you're from, wherever you're listening from, go out and check out local bands in the clubs, because you're going to be blown away. You might not be blown away at every show you go to, but you're going to discover that there are bands in your town that you're going to shake your head and go, how are these guys not on the radio? And I love finding that wherever I go, be it here, on vacation, like let's hit up a rock club and see what their scene's like. And I've done that lots of times and, come across bands that you'll never hear of,
Oh, yeah.
Super cool. So one last thing, you're a huge fan of independent music. What are some bands from Vancouver right now that people listening should go check out?
This is what I was mentioning earlier. Bad Magic, amazing band. My buddy's Sleep Circle, my other buddy's Redwoods. Like, these are some bands, man, that you're gonna shake your head when you listen to them.
Super cool. All right, Des,
feel free to go into the chat and link their Facebook pages too.
There it is. So, dude, thanks for taking some time hanging out with us and letting people know about your band and all that.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you having me on, man, and putting up with me.
And one last thing, I have 2 songs queued up here. You get to pick from Stickman. We have Listening and Not Everything. Pick one.
Oh, shit. Listening.
All right, there
Up
it is.
next, you're listening to Listening.
All right, so we're gonna do a double. We're gonna play Stickman, and then we're gonna play Sleep Circle, and then we're gonna get out of here. So, dude, thanks for taking some time off and time out to talk to us, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Okay, all right. Thanks again, guys.
Take it easy. Oh. All right, that was the one and only Des Vegas from Stickman out of Vancouver, British
drummer
Columbia.
name.
Des Vegas. What were some takeaways you got from that one, Kev?
Oh man, I'm kind of jealous.
Or some takeaways from the whole show, I guess.
I'm kind of jealous of their dynamic, because how they write and everything is how I would think things should work, but they don't. Like guitar player that's like, I don't want to do anything but play. It's like, okay, and then we go to write and it's like, oh, I ain't got nothing. It's like, come the fuck on, man. But no, just super down to earth, seemed really chill.
I think we got to get out to Vancouver, dude. I think it's going to start up again.
I've been saying that for fucking ages, man.
I think we got to do it now. Once things start opening up.
What was it, Getaway Van? That was
that was the first band from
literally
Vancouver.
After that, I was like, well, I love Canada. You already know that.
Yeah.
But I was like, another reason to go to Canada. Fuck it. Why not?
We can go to Vancouver, check out a Canucks game.
And a Seattle Kraken game.
As long
as we don't need to quarantine or anything.
No. Okay. All right, so we're gonna wrap this show up. Get out of here. I'm gonna go to bed. My hangover is coming back.
You're not hair of the dog in it.
I did. I had the one beer and then I'm like, shit.
You're ready for bed.
Yeah, my head started to hurt again. Yeah, so I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to bed.
Happens when you get old.
I'm gonna down some nachos or some shit like that.
Some nachos.
And I'm going to bed. I can't party like a rock star anymore. I did it like yesterday.
And Blue Ridge.
Yeah, well, I didn't really drink. I didn't party that much at Blue Ridge. I had a couple beers, but I wasn't throwing down.
Let me rephrase this. When we weren't playing at Blue Ridge, you were there for like 10 hours.
Yeah, but I wasn't like throwing down, because all they were serving was beer, so it's not like I was throwing down Jack and Cokes for 3 days.
We go full circle to my thing earlier. I can drink my beers, but if I'm going crazy, that's when I bust out the liquor. So you were pulling a Raz, so you could function and be normal. You were just drinking beers.
Well, that's all they had. I mean, if they had Jack Daniels, I would have went down that route. But
they didn't have like
they didn't have liquor.
Period.
Period. You could not buy liquor.
You couldn't get it a rum and Coke.
No.
What?
All they had was beers. That's why I was drinking those.
You should have just left
Bud Light
the grounds
seltzers.
and gone to the trailer park.
The trailer park or the trailer park.
The tent city.
I mean, there was offers to go, and I'm like, I don't want to go into some random's tent.
I'll suck your dick. Ricky's like,
I'll suck your dick if you want to come to my tent.
Let me take these out.
I'm Ken Kenneth from Connecticut. Come into my tent. So next week on the show, I have no idea who we're getting. Luckily, this week I get back on normal schedule because Well, because I've been with the kids for the last 2 weeks. You know, I haven't had a babysitter because my nephew had COVID. So that whole house quarantined for 2 weeks. So I've had Mason here all day, and Olivia's been off school because of winter break or whatever it is. So I've had the 2 kids. So taking Nikki to work, I'm watching all the kids. So I haven't been able to do shit around the house.
Daddy daycare up in here.
It was horrible. And so now this week, everything's going back to normal. The kid's going back to the babysitter. So I'm going to have time to do shit around the house and
drink.
Well, maybe we'll see. We'll see where the week takes me.
It's Monday at 11 a.m. I'm getting fucking drunk. Rikki Roxx.
If I slam all these beers in an hour, that gives me about 4 hours before I got to pick everybody up. So it's time to get sober. So yeah, next week, have no clue who we're going to have on the show. I'll figure it out sometime this week. Thanks to Des Vegas, Stickman, Vancouver, British Columbia. Check out our Pump It or Dump Band of the Week, Nail Bite. Maybe you'll be the one person out there who's like, dude, this is fucking killer. You know, checking out independent stuff, Lancaster, PA, and make sure you go and vote on that. Give it a thumbs up or the if you did not like it. Next week, a whole new beer of the week, a whole new nuts and bolts and harsh truths. We are plugging right along into 2022 and super cool. Go check out the Patreon, patreon.com/ROXX100.
If we can't get some band to call in, why don't we do like a fan appreciation? Like we could talk to Steve Dave, Steve Ingle, some of our diehards.
Could. See how that goes. Yeah, so all new nuts and bolts, all new Pump It or Dump Band of the Week, finding new independent bands to show you guys and expose you guys to. New beer of the week. Like I said, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ROXX100. Our sponsor, IHatePeople.club, vulgar clothing for the introvert and all of us. Coupon code ROXX100 for 20% off your entire order. Sunday, January 16th, the 2-hour charity rock block on Cave Radio. I'm going to be doing that from 10 to midnight. And also, I'm a reverend, so if you want to fly me out, I will officiate your wedding and do phenomenal things.
Vancouver, here we come.
Vancouver? I don't know if I can do it in Canada. I think it's only good for America. So
lame.
Yeah. So we're gonna get out of here. Play some Stickman, their song "Listening," out of a direct request from Des Vegas, and we're gonna close it out with Sleep Circle and their song "Consumed."
Oh yeah.
All right, Kevin. I will see you on Wednesday. Hopefully, if you've heard from Danny, I haven't heard shit from him.
Yeah, we'll get fucking guitar players. We'll get a hold of them.
Okay.
I'll send my carrier pigeon over there.
Okay. And lastly, Steve Dave says, is OnlyBands a thing? Asking for a friend.
I said that last week. We need to start a thing called OnlyBands.
Isn't that like MySpace?
No, so think of like
Nation?
Indie on the Move, but like, yeah, it's been done. But the fact that it could be called OnlyBands, kind of, you're going to siphon off those people that are like, oh, OnlyFans. Well, I could go for some music. Jerk off for music. I don't know.
I can jerk off while I'm listening to independent bands.
Or that. I mean, hey, if that's what you're into.
Sleep Circle, they sound great.
Okay, Kenneth.
Ooh, Stickman. I got my own Stickman. Ooh. Okay.
And the numbers are plummeting.
Yeah, well, No, they actually went up, so there it is.
God damn it, I was joking. Just fucking end it, Ricky.
All right, here we go. Stickman, Listening, and Sleep Circle, Consumed. This has been episode number 128 of the Rikki ROXX Show.
ROXX100.com.
Oh, Steve Dave, I thought it was naked concerts, like Naked News.
Red Hot Chili Peppers did the show with the fucking tube socks on their dongs.
Yeah, so maybe that should be a thing for the new band. We should just wear like cups.
Casting dongs with a Z.
Okay, this is getting stupid. We're getting out of here. Talk to you guys.
I don't know why that's so funny, but holy fuck.
Okay.
Peace.
Misperception, be more. This determination, the cost of life is the loss of life. The constraints of time will consume us
Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx. It's Rikki Roxx, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Rikki Roxx Show, spreading like the pox. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx, yeah. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx. Rikki Roxx, Rikki Roxx, yeah. Rikki Roxx up in your grill, motherfucker.
Hey, this is Rikki ROXX, and you are listening to Rocks 100.com.